Let's discuss the latest spike in terror attacks in Syria with Dr. Sreeram Chaulia from the Jindal School of International Affairs. Dr. Chaulia, thank you for joining RT. Now, car bombings have unfortunately become a common occurrence in Damascus, but are now being deployed in Aleppo as well. Does this mean the rebels are getting an upper hand in the fight for the country's commercial hub?
Well, terrorist tactics are usually the weapon of the weak. So it's not necessarily the case that they're getting an upper hand, but certainly what they're doing is they are causing massive destruction. And what's happening is that the opposition forces are now resorting to more and more desperate tactics because they are conventionally weaker than the state. But more interestingly and importantly, I think these terrorist tactics are going to alienate the opposition more and more from the civilian population. And that is, I think, the ultimate consequence. Because people will be disgusted. I mean, from what I read, it's clear that many parts of Syria, including Aleppo, al-Raqqa, and many of the northern regions, we are seeing resistance by ordinary people to the rebels who are mounting these kinds of attacks and are inviting retaliatory attacks by the state and being crushed by both sides. So really, I think it's time for us to step back and think about nonviolent solutions. It was good that in September we had a gathering of opposition groups who were wedded to nonviolence in Damascus. The Russian ambassador was present. That I thought was a positive move, but it was just sidelined by the West and by its proxies in the region as puppets of the regime. When the fact was they were calling for peaceful transition and removal of Assad through peaceful means.
Dr. Chaulia, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but why now? Why such a spike now? I mean, are the rebels getting better equipped or outside help perhaps? Is that as suspected in the Damascus blasts?
I think there is definitely an al-Qaeda kind of modus operandi in many of these attacks. And as we know, even though the Iraqi government is supporting the Assad regime and is in favor of a peaceful solution, there are Sunni Islamists coming over from the Iraqi side, as well as I fear from the Turkish side, with the backing of Qatar and Saudi Arabia and some of the more pro-Wahhabi regimes in the region, who in turn have the West's blessing. I was just speaking to a Western diplomat and reminiscing about what went wrong and how we could have prevented all this bloodshed and terrible loss of lives. And I said, if you had restrained your allies in the region to act more responsibly, we would not have come to this, dead end where there are attacks indiscriminately and mostly killing civilians as well as, of course, regime forces.
Dr. Chaulia, now these attacks are certainly getting deadlier. At what point will the body count get high enough for rebel-friendly countries to reassess their stance on solely blaming the regime for all the violence?
I think the proxy elements of the West in the region, as well as the Sunni monarchies, seem confident that they can topple the regime. And as long as there is not enough countervailing force or deterrence, they will keep trying inch by inch, because the rebels are claiming that they're going to establish the no-go zone in the north and a humanitarian corridor connecting it to Turkey and all that. And I think they are confident that they can do it, but I don't really see this stalemate breaking up anytime soon, because the regime is also pretty well entrenched. So unfortunately, what this means is that this is going to be like a war of wills and attrition between two sides who both think that they can win the war, while the nonviolent alternatives are unfortunately being sidelined or ignored.
Sreeram Chaulia, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but we are running out of time. World Affairs analyst and professor at the Jindal School of International Affairs in India, thank you.